Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather. In this update, we've got several more days of severe storms along with some record highs and record lows as we'll detail out the next 7 days. Plus, we'll take a sneak peek at the long range. Good morning everyone, how's it going out there? This is your Wednesday, May the 11th update. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you get like detailed weather analysis and kind of a full breakdown for the week ahead. So let's kind of delve into the details this morning and take a look at the overall water vapor imagery. And you can actually see this little swirl out here off the East Coast. That's actually bringing in some much cooler air and very pleasant conditions up here in the Northeast along the East Coast here. A lot of the action is in the midsection of the country where they had the dry line really active yesterday out here in West Texas. That's actually retreated a little bit further off into the west today. Now the setup's going to be right along the borderline of into portions of New Mexico, but a lot of the instability is going to be well to the north again, all the way up into portions of Iowa and Minnesota with some very strong thunderstorms later on this afternoon. So let's kind of take a look at the overall setup. We've got a significant what they call Rex blocking pattern really starting to take shape and amplify. We've got a developing ridge. It's really deepening, bringing a lot of record high temperatures for the midsection of the country. That's pulling all the way up into the upper Midwest. And with this Rex blocking, we've got this little trough that's going to be diving southward. It's going to be slowly meandering, but bringing in that much cooler conditions along the coast, at least for the next couple of days. So enjoy those nice conditions while you have them. But out to the west, it's been just kind of completely the opposite. Well, we got a pretty significant trough that's diving in. You're seeing well below average temperatures for them, and it's actually even snowing in some of the higher elevations in Nevada this morning. So, but if we take a look at some of the overall temperatures for today, we've got numerous record high temperatures. In fact, about 40 record high temperatures for your Wednesday, May the 11th, all the way up here into Texas and Oklahoma, back into Kansas. That surge of 90s goes all the way up into Iowa here, going all the way up and even into portions of 80s into Minnesota and Wisconsin. So plenty of heat along the southeast, but look at the temperatures along in the northeast. That's 70s, even some 60s out here in Virginia. So these are high temperatures, folks. This is going to be really nice conditions, so definitely enjoy those conditions while you have them. But out to the west, there's much cooler conditions with even some 50s showing up for high temperatures today underneath that trough of pressure. So let's take a look at the overall HRRR model on the simulated satellite. About 4 or 5 o'clock, I do think storms are going to be starting to explode right along the dry line here in far west Texas into portions of New Mexico. You can see it's really pleasant out here into the East Coast and much of the Southeast. But man, look at all the action is going to be taking shape over portions of Iowa into portions of Minnesota, especially as we get into that peak heating time, 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. We could be seeing supercell thunderstorms starting to erupt. But let's take a look at the overall update from the Storm Prediction Center, because they did in fact highlight that enhanced risk for severe weather today in far extreme portions of Nebraska, getting into eastern portions of South Dakota, but especially into northern portions of Iowa here into Minnesota. You're going to be under the bullseye for those strong to severe thunderstorms, packing some very large hail in its wake. So they do have what they call an hatched risk for very large hail. That is your 2-inch diameter. And of course, not everybody's going to be seeing that today, but the atmosphere is capable of producing some of those golf ball size hail or even greater. You can't even roll out even some 3-inch hail in this type of environment. But there's also another little bullseye here down here in far west Texas, down here towards the Fort Stockton area. That also could be seeing some very large hail producers. But even a tornado threat is going to be pretty prevalent today, where it's going to be a lot of rotation in the atmosphere. So definitely be on high alert up here in this neck of the woods for a couple tornadoes, and some of those actually could be on the strong side, some possibly some EF2 type variety of tornado potential up here and especially into Minnesota today. But those high winds as well are going to be packing. You got to have at least 60-mile-per-hour winds to qualify for a severe thunderstorm. Those could easily top that, if not 70, especially where it bows out, even upwards to 75 miles an hour later on this afternoon into the evening hours. So definitely be on high alert. So let's take a look at this overall setup, because kind of the big picture for the whole nationwide, we got that trough out here off the East Coast, bringing all that much cooler conditions, and very nice, at least for the next couple of days, under that ridge of high pressure. We've got that storm set up in far west Texas, getting into portions of New Mexico. Back behind it, it's just kind of bone dry, unfortunately, where they've got critical and extreme fire dangers. All the actions well to the north of that warm front here, and back into portions of Nebraska here with extremely heavy rain as well. So you got flash flooding concerns of a possibility with these training supercell thunderstorms into the late afternoon hours, especially into the early evening hours, heading towards that 10, 11 o'clock time frame. So definitely be on high alert for all three modes of severe weather, with strong thunderstorms, with damaging winds, that large hail potential, and that tornado potential. But out here to the west, yeah, it's still cold enough where we could be looking at some snow showers up here in the higher elevations, where they do have those kind of series of troughs that are going to be digging in off the Pacific Northwest. You're still bringing some daily rain showers for them. But as we go into your Thursday timeframe, look at the surge in temperatures going all the way up into Minnesota. That's 90s, folks. 92 degrees in Minnesota for May the 12th. I mean, that's record high potential. And in fact, we could have 59 potential record highs going during the day on your Thursday, with widespread 90s extending all the way from Texas, Louisiana, to Mississippi, to Arkansas, to Missouri, all the way up to Iowa, Nebraska, even into portions of Wisconsin. There are getting almost 90 degrees. But look at the record lows. I mean, these are actually record low maximum temperatures. You're only going to be getting up to 53 degrees, 54 degrees right off the West Coast there. So yeah, it's going to be even almost chilly out up there in parts of the Pacific Northwest, where it's just really going to be pleasant with widespread 70s into New York up here along the East Coast. But look, well to the north, that ridge is going to be building under that ridge blocks, and that's all the way up to 80s, in the 80s in Vermont, New Hampshire, back into Maine. And I think that just amplifies as that ridge will start to deepen. But yeah, the definitely concern is the high alert day is going to be on Thursday, where they have that. It's pretty significant enhanced risk. And some of these areas actually could be amplified up to a moderate risk type potential as this gets closer. But yeah, anywhere in this zone, definitely be on high alert into Kansas and in Nebraska, all the way to Iowa again, and to Minnesota. With this Rex blocking pattern, that setup just not going to be able to go anywhere. So a lot of the same areas just still get hit with some very large hail, some higher wind gust, and yes, that tornado threat is going to be prevalent again, lifting a little bit further north this time, all the way into portions of North Dakota, and then further into Minnesota, even in towards near the border there. I mean, we could be looking at some severe storms all the way up into portions of Canada. I mean, that's how pretty significant this is. But here's the overall setup, as that trough will just kind of take its sweet time off the East Coast, really kind of meander, and it's still going to get close enough. Actually could bring some light showers in far extreme portions of North Carolina and to South Carolina. But well to the action is going to be well to the north, where all that enhanced risk comes into play. And just to the north of there, that flood risk goes all the way into Nebraska, into North Dakota, extending all the way into southern portions of Canada there, with all those much cooler conditions and snow showers for the Pacific Northwest. And there's your record high temperatures for Friday. Not as much as Thursday, but still about 24 record high temperatures in much of Texas, much of Louisiana, much of Arkansas. Those 80s surge, 86 degrees. Look at that, guys, all the way up into Wisconsin, with those 80s pulling all the way up into Maine now. So now that ridge is going to be shifting a little bit further off to the east. You're going to start, getting a little bit higher temperatures, especially as we get into Friday, with widespread 80s for the Ohio Valley, and even down in the Florida, still widespread 80s, if not 90 degrees. And of course, the desert Southwest is pretty hot for them, even for them for this time of year. But that severe threat just continues to shift a little bit further off to the east. So now here's the setup for your getting into portions on Friday here, going into portions of Oklahoma, getting in Nebraska as well as Missouri and into Iowa. That shift will go into even into portions of Illinois with some stronger thunderstorms into the daytime heating hours into your early evening time frame. And there's the setup with that trough digging a little bit closer off the East Coast now and extending into portions of the Tennessee Valley. Could start to pick up some sporadic showers for them, as that trough will start to bring some daily showers in portions of Louisiana. And there's the severe threat in the midsection of the country, back behind, kind of ahead of that cold front. But back behind you got widespread clearing. So it's going to be really nice back behind this cold front that's going to be finally on the move on Friday. But yeah, it doesn't really sink that far south because the ridge of high pressure is pretty much going to be dominating for much of the southern states, with widespread 90s into Texas. You could be looking at some of your hottest temperatures of the season back into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. 96, 98 degrees is probably not out of the question. But look at all the way in the northern tip of Maine. We're close, almost 90 degrees now. That's 89 degrees. So that's plenty of warmth heading up for them. So those, like I said, take advantage of those nice temperatures while you have them today, because those are going to be really amplifying as we get deeper into the weekend. But here's the setup for Saturday, as that trough will just dig a little bit closer, just kind of taking its sweet time, just sporadic showers into the daytime heating hours into the mid-Atlantic states, where finally those low pressure systems actually pull well into the Canada. Well, bone dry conditions back behind it. So there's going to be really bumpy ride for the next couple of days, but back behind it, as you get into your Saturday, much nicer conditions and even some cooler conditions back behind that front. Again, we just have series of troughs coming into the Pacific Northwest with more rain showers for them, with the ridge just amplifying and actually starting to deepen again. And much of Texas, we're seeing widespread hundreds out here in West Texas. I mean, Dallas-Fort Worth could get close to near 100 degrees, especially as you get closer, maybe even to Monday and Tuesday timeframe, as this ridge is really going to start to dominate. So there's no 90s anymore in Minnesota. Now we're talking 60s and if not almost 70 degrees. So it's going to be really pleasant conditions back behind that cold front. But there's the setup for Sunday. So as that cold front will continue to push off into the mid-Atlantic states, we'll have those rain showers. But much of this instability with that little low pressure system is going to be well offshore. So all the higher winds, and then much of really the heavier rain is it's going to be well offshore. We're just going to be just close enough to hit some of the far coastal regions. But as you get into Monday, like I mentioned, the ridge just continues to amplify, actually even get stronger. So you're going to be widespread 90s and if not 100s in Texas for Louisiana, extending all the way down into portions of the southeast, where those series of troughs are going to be digging well north as the jet stream lifts well north by the time we get into your Monday timeframe. But there's the precipitation for Monday, May the 16th. Again, that trough will still be hanging offshore, but with these little series of mini cold fronts will be pushing through, you'll have some instability over the Ohio Valley and much of the mid-Atlantic into the Northeast, with those cooler conditions starting to fill in as that Rex blocking pattern will start to kind of break down to the north. But to the south, the high pressure just continues to deepen and amplify down here, much of the southern states back into the southeast, with the trough lifting well north, bringing the much cooler conditions well north into the Pacific Northwest, much of the upper Midwest by then, and to the Ohio Valley, with actually really nice conditions and widespread 70s for them. So definitely enjoy that for Tuesday. But there's the setup for Tuesday for as far as the showers go. We'll have that cold front will continue to push a little bit further off into the Northeast, bringing those sporadic showers. So not 89 degrees in Maine, so it'll be cold enough, or at least cool enough to kind of cool you down with these little showers that pull through during the day on Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, beyond that, I mean, here's the latest update from the Climate Prediction Center. Just continues to amplify that ridge. I mean, we're talking more record highs as La Nina is firmly in place, if not moderate La Nina. It's actually heading towards strong, guys. So I don't see the La Nina going where anytime soon whatsoever. It just actually is even getting stronger as we speak. with the jet stream lifting well north, bringing those cooler conditions in a lot of the same areas that have been seeing some of the cooler conditions. And we've got more widespread heat even beyond that into the extended views, going all the way through possibly into the May 24th timeframe, with again well above average temperatures for much of the south and the southeast. With that trough, I mean, you've been asking me when's it going to warm up in the Pacific Northwest. Not really anytime soon, as you got just series of troughs pulling through, and that jet stream is well to the north, and the high pressure is just locked and loaded underneath, and then pretty much dry as can be out there as well. So with the La Nina firmly in place, this is more of a La Nina type pattern, unfortunately, with no relief in sight, as the jet streams well to the north and all the instability will be well to the north as well. But beyond that, again, by the time we get in that 21st going through the 24th time frame, again, we have that another pretty significant trough that's going to be setting up, and for much of the Pacific Northwest, diving in the midsection of the country with the ridge locked and loaded underneath. That'll pull the storm threat well to the north again. So a lot of these same areas could be looking at some more severe storms, as we get deeper into, 10, 12 days from now. So I'm not seeing anything kind of let up with this pattern. So, hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Catch the latest update where I protect you before and after storm.